Hey guys, this is Nick Bratton of Bratton Sports Performance. Hey, today I want to take you through another one of our progressions for our acceleration series. Today we're going to go over our top of the push-up start. This is something that many individuals and many coaches use. We use it in a little bit of a different way in order to prevent some negative feedback that we get from it. But it's one position that I really like just because everything else that we do, we start in a top position and work down and try and get into our angle. The problem is we have a little bit of a security blanket there and we have a point where we can stop. I like this drill because we have to work from a deep angle and work our way up. So I'm going to take you through it a couple of times, show you how we teach it and what I'm looking for as we go through it. But suffice to say, I love this drill just because of our ability to work up out of that position. Now, one of the key things here and one of the most important things is our athlete has to be very strong in order to do this and do it properly. The reason why I stray from it with our younger athletes is because when they run out of that position, you tend to see their spine go into a flexed position and posture as they're building up into the acceleration, and then they have to unravel as they go through it. So one thing that we do in order to combat this with our older athletes is when we bring our foot up into that initial position, we will pause for just a second in order to gain our integrity and get into a rigid position. Then we will really focus on driving off that leg, getting a good extension through that arm in order to drive ourselves out. So we'll go through a couple of examples here and then we'll meet back up afterwards. So here we go. We're going to go through our top of push-up start. Now, like I said, as we go through this, we are going to start out in the top of that push-up position. I instruct my athletes, if we can, to come up on our fingertips in order to bring our shoulders a little bit higher up off the ground, give us a little bit more of an advantage. And then also that we stay in that flat position. I don't want the hips to come up. I don't want the spine to go into flexion. So I'm going to go through a couple for you here. What I want you to pay specific attention to is, one, where I place my foot when I bring that knee up. What happens to the body as I take that initial step and kind of where we go from there. So I'm going to go through a couple examples here for you. Now again, as I'm coming out of this, my big focus is, one, to keep my body nice and flat, to get good extension off of the forward leg or the leg that I place underneath myself before I take off. And then also that I just gradually work up. I constantly refer to this as like an airplane taking off. You know, this is something that we're gradually going to go through as we go through this acceleration. I don't expect to do it all at one time. So each step, we're progressively getting a little bit higher. Like I said, I like this with a little bit of a pause in that first step just because it gives us the ability to regain our integrity within our body. Also gives us a minute to mentally check off what we're getting ready to go through and really focus on this movement. So, like I said, when you get set up, hands are right underneath your shoulders. We're up on our fingertips in order to bring our shoulders a little higher off the ground. We're going to bring one foot up, pause for just a second, and then we will take off from that position there, working out somewhere between 15 and 25 yards with it. Now, this is a drill that I only get to once we have progressed through all of our other drills, working from that tall position down into this, and it's something that I only do with my older athletes. Sometimes it works with them, sometimes it doesn't. This is where being a coach comes involved. And so put this in your program, give it a shot. If you have any questions with it, please feel free to email me, ask those. I'd love to help in any way. Thanks.